Understanding the Constitution. The word constitution comes from the Latin word constiture, which means to establish or to set up. In today's context, a constitution refers to a collection of guiding principles that outline how a government is organized, how it operates, and the relationship it has with the people it serves. This relationship includes the rights and responsibilities of both the government and the citizens. A constitution is often referred to using several terms that highlight its importance. It is called the fundamental law of the land, supreme law of the state, and basic law of the country, among other names. Each of these terms underscores the Constitution's role as the highest legal authority in a nation, creating a framework for governance and the rule of law. Political scientists and constitutional experts have offered various definitions of what a constitution is. For instance, Gilchrist defines it as a set of rules or laws that determine how a government is organized, how powers are distributed among different government bodies, and the key principles under which these powers operate. Similarly, Gettel describes a constitution as the fundamental principles that form the system of a state, including how it organizes itself, the distribution of powers, the functions of government, and its relationship with its citizens. Where notes that a constitution encapsulates the entire system of government of a country and consists of a collection of rules that establish and regulate governmental operations. Wade and Phillips emphasize that a constitution is a special legal document which not only sets the framework and primary functions of government organs but also states the guiding principles for how these organs operate. In India, the Constitution serves as the supreme law. Enacted on 26 January 1950, the Constitution of India defines the structure of the Indian government and its relationship with the Indian citizens. It is a comprehensive document that outlines the rights of the citizens, the duties of the government, and the processes for governance. Key articles in the Indian Constitution include Article 14, which ensures equality before the law, Article 19, which guarantees the freedom of speech and expression, and Article 21, which asserts the right to life and personal liberty. These articles highlight the rights of citizens and set the stage for a democratic society where everyone has equal opportunities and protections under the law. Additionally, the Indian Constitution includes provisions for the separation of powers among the three branches of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. For example, Article 50 promotes the separation of the judiciary from the executive, ensuring that the judiciary remains independent and fair. Overall, the Constitution is fundamental in maintaining order and justice in a society, laying down the basic structure of governance, and safeguarding the rights and freedoms of individuals. It acts as a guiding instrument that supports the lawful functioning of a state and establishes a framework for a just and equitable society. The functions of a constitution are essential to understanding how a country operates. The constitutional expert, Elliot Bulmer, has outlined several key roles that a constitution plays in a political community. These functions help define not only the governing rules but also the identity of the nation. First, a constitution identifies and establishes the boundaries of a political community. This means it clarifies who is included as part of the nation and who is not, which is vital for national unity and governance. This aspect can be linked to articles like Article 1 of the Indian Constitution, which defines the territory of India. Second, a constitution explains the nature and authority of the political community. It describes how power is organized and legitimized within the state. In India, for example, the Constitution lays down the governance structure in its preamble, emphasizing principles such as justice, liberty, and equality. Third, a constitution expresses the identity and values of the national community. It reflects the shared beliefs and principles of the people. The Indian Constitution, for instance, incorporates the ideals of secularism and socialism, showcasing the core values that India stands for. Fourth, a constitution outlines the rights and responsibilities of its citizens. It guarantees fundamental rights as presented in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. These rights include the right to equality, freedom of speech, and protection against discrimination. Alongside these rights, citizens also have duties, such as respecting the Constitution and promoting harmony. Fifth, a constitution establishes and regulates political institutions. It sets the framework for how various entities like the executive, legislature, and judiciary operate. Articles in the Indian Constitution detail the role of these institutions, such as Articles 74 and 75, which discuss the formation of the Council of Ministers, and Article 123, which gives the President the power to legislate under specific conditions. Sixth, a constitution can delineate how power is distributed or shared among different levels of government. In India, this is illustrated through the distribution of powers between the central and state governments, as detailed in the 7th schedule of the Constitution, which includes the Union List, State List, and Concurrent List. Seventh, a constitution can define the official religious identity of a state and the relationship between religious and secular authorities. While India is a secular state, the Constitution acknowledges various religions under Articles 25 to 28, which ensure freedom of religion while upholding secular governance. Lastly, a constitution may commit the state to specific social, economic, or developmental goals. For example, the Directive Principles of State Policy in Part 4 of the Indian Constitution outlines the aims for welfare in areas like education, health, and economic equality, guiding the government's policies towards achieving social justice. In conclusion, a constitution serves multiple vital functions in shaping a political community. It not only establishes rules and rights but also reflects the country's identity and values. The Indian Constitution, with its myriad of articles and provisions, embodies these functions and serves as the foundational legal document that governs the country. Qualities of a good constitution. A good constitution is essential for the effective functioning of a nation. It not only outlines how a government operates but also protects the rights of its citizens. Here are some important qualities that contribute to a strong constitution, explained in simpler terms. Brevity. A constitution should be brief and straightforward. If it is too long and packed with unnecessary details, it can create confusion when trying to understand its rules. For example, the Indian Constitution is quite lengthy, but it follows a structured format that helps make sense of its various components. Keeping it concise helps ensure that everyone can grasp its main ideas easily. Clarity. It is important for a constitution to be written in clear terms. When the language is too complicated, it can make understanding difficult for the average person. For instance, important articles in the Indian Constitution, like Article 14, the right to equality, communicate their meaning simply so that people can understand their rights without needing a law degree. Clear language helps citizens know their rights and responsibilities. Definiteness. A good constitution must have clear meanings for its rules. When the meanings are unclear or open to interpretation, judges have too much freedom in how they apply the law. This can lead to inconsistencies in legal decisions. For example, in India, Article 21 guarantees the right to life and personal liberty. It is crucial that the interpretation of this article remains consistent so that everyone understands their fundamental rights. Comprehensiveness. A constitution should be comprehensive, meaning it should cover all important areas such as the powers of the government and the rights and duties of citizens. A well-rounded constitution helps to minimize disputes and legal battles. In the Indian constitutional framework, various articles outline the rights of citizens, such as Articles 19 to 22, which protect freedoms such as speech, assembly, and protection against arbitrary arrest. Suitability. A good constitution should reflect the needs and hopes of the people it serves. It must be appropriate for the nation's unique historical, social, cultural, economic, and political circumstances. The Indian Constitution was created in a context where the country was transitioning from colonial rule to independence, and it incorporates various aspects of Indian society. This suitability helps the Constitution remain relevant over time. Stability. For a constitution to be effective, it should promote political stability. It should not be too easy to change or amend. The Indian Constitution has provisions outlined in Article 368, which specify the process for amendments. This ensures that any changes are thoughtful and representative of a consensus, strengthening the trust of citizens in their governing document. Adaptability. A constitution should be dynamic and capable of evolving with changing times. As society develops, the needs and challenges can shift. The Indian Constitution includes flexible provisions that allow for amendments, ensuring that it can adapt to new circumstances while retaining core principles. This adaptability keeps the Constitution relevant and alive for future generations. In summary, a good constitution should be brief, clear, definite, comprehensive, suitable to the people it serves, stable, and adaptable. These qualities ensure that a constitution not only governs effectively but also protects the rights of its citizens, helping to create a just society. Understanding articles like 14, 21, and 368 in the Indian Constitution can enhance one's knowledge of how these qualities are embodied in practice. Classification of constitutions. Constitutions are essential documents that define how a country is governed. They can be categorized in different ways based on various criteria. Here are the main classifications. Evolved versus enacted constitutions. One way to classify constitutions is based on how they have developed over time. Evolved constitutions arise from a gradual process, shaped by traditions, practices, principles, and court decisions over many years. This type of constitution does not have a single document that outlines its provisions. The British Constitution is a prominent example because its rules have evolved over centuries through customs and judicial rulings. On the other hand, enacted constitutions are created intentionally. They are put together by a body specifically established for this purpose, like a constitutional assembly or council, and are formally written in one or more documents. Both the constitutions of the United States and India are examples of enacted constitutions, as they were carefully formulated and adopted at specific points in history. Written versus unwritten constitutions. Constitutions can also be divided into written and unwritten categories based on whether their rules are formalized in documents. A written constitution consists of explicit provisions that are documented in a structured format. These rules are produced by a convention or assembly dedicated to this task. Countries like the USA, Canada, Japan, France, and India all have written constitutions, which are clear and accessible. In contrast, an unwritten constitution does not have a single written document that contains all its provisions. Instead, it is based on a mix of customs, practices, principles, and judicial decisions. This type of constitution develops over time and is often known as a product of history. The constitutions of the UK, New Zealand, and Israel are good examples of unwritten constitutions. The differences between written and unwritten constitutions are similar to those between evolved and enacted constitutions, reflecting how a country organizes and formalizes its governance. Rigid versus flexible constitutions. The classification of constitutions can further extend to rigid and flexible types based on how easily they can be amended. According to the scholar Lord James Bryce, a rigid constitution cannot be changed easily, requiring a special process to make amendments. This means that constitutional law is distinct from ordinary law, which can be changed more easily. Examples of rigid constitutions include those of the USA, Australia, and Switzerland. In contrast, a flexible constitution allows for changes in the same way as regular laws, without needing a special amendment process. This type of constitution is often referred to as an elastic constitution. The constitutions of the UK and New Zealand fall into this category. The Constitution of India has a unique feature. It is described as a blend of both rigid and flexible characteristics, allowing for both straightforward amendments and more complex processes when necessary. Federal versus unitary constitutions. Another essential classification is between federal and unitary constitutions, which distinguishes based on how power is distributed between national and regional governments. A federal constitution divides powers between the national and regional government, allowing both to operate independently within their areas of jurisdiction. Countries like the USA, Canada, Switzerland, and Australia exemplify federal systems. Conversely, a unitary constitution centralizes power in the national government. In this system, regional governments operate under the authority of the national government and can only exercise power that is delegated to them. Examples of countries with unitary constitutions include the UK, France, and Japan. The Indian Constitution incorporates both federal and unitary principles, which is why it is often described as quasi-federal by constitutional scholars like K.C. Ware. Procedural versus prescriptive constitutions. Finally, we can classify constitutions into procedural and prescriptive types based on their focus and purpose. A procedural constitution lays out the methods and structures for governance. It defines how public institutions are organized and outlines the limits on government power to protect democratic principles and individual rights. In contrast, a prescriptive constitution not only describes how the government should function but also expresses a vision of shared societal goals that public authorities must pursue. This type of constitution aims to instill a common understanding and agreement on what the nation strives to achieve. Conclusion. Understanding the different classifications of constitutions can help us grasp how various countries govern themselves and how their legal systems operate. In India, the constitution is written, enacted, and features a mix of rigidity and flexibility, encapsulating both federal and unitary elements, while also combining procedural and prescriptive characteristics. Certain constitutional articles, such as those regarding the rights of citizens, Article 14, Right to Equality, and the distribution of powers, Article 246, Distribution of legislative powers, underscore India's unique and comprehensive approach to governance. Constitutionalism and constitutional government. Understanding the concepts. Constitutionalism and constitutional government are two important ideas that are frequently discussed together, yet they have distinct meanings. A country might possess a constitution, which is a document that outlines the rules and principles of governance, but that doesn't automatically mean it practices constitutionalism. For instance, in a dictatorship, where a single leader has complete control, there may be a constitution, but the absence of checks on that power means there is no true constitutionalism. Constitutionalism emphasizes the need for government authority, while also insisting that there should be limits on this power. If a government were allowed to operate without restrictions, it might become authoritarian and oppressive, compromising the freedoms of its citizens. A nation truly embodies both a constitution and constitutionalism when its constitution places clear limitations on governmental power. The essence of constitutionalism is a form of governance that adheres to a constitution, establishing a government that is limited and governed by the rule of law. This is in direct opposition to arbitrary and despotic rule. Constitutional governance should ideally be democratic, meaning that the government is accountable to the people and operates according to shared rules, not just the whims of any individual. Definitions. Different scholars have defined constitutionalism and constitutional government in various ways. Friedrich notes that constitutionalism provides a system of effective restraints upon governmental action, ensuring fair play and governmental accountability. Similarly, Ruchek describes constitutionalism as essentially limited government, emphasizing its opposition to the unrestrained power of rulers. Where emphasizes that constitutional government goes beyond simply following a constitution, it denotes a government that operates in accordance with the rule of law, as opposed to arbitrary decision-making. Yibema adds that a government is considered constitutional only if its leaders are bound by a set of rules that restrict their power, reinforcing that constitutional government is fundamentally against arbitrary rule. Key elements of constitutionalism. Renowned constitutional scholar Louis Henkin identified several essential elements that underline the concept of constitutionalism. These elements include popular sovereignty, the belief that the authority of government is created and sustained by the consent of its people, who are the true source of political power. Rule of law, the principle that everyone, including government officials, is subject to the law and that laws should be applied consistently and fairly to all individuals. Democratic government, a system of governance that is responsible and accountable to the citizens, ensuring participation in the decision-making process. Separation of powers, this principle divides the government into distinct branches, typically the executive, legislative, and judicial, to prevent any one group from wielding too much power, creating checks and balances among them. Independent judiciary, a judiciary that is separate from other branches of government is crucial for ensuring fair and impartial interpretation of the law, ultimately protecting the rights of individuals. Civilian control of the military should be controlled by elected civilians to ensure it remains subordinate to the elected government and does not interfere in the political process. Police governed by law and judicial control, the police force must operate under the law and be accountable to the judiciary to prevent abuses of power. Respect for individual rights, the government must recognize and protect the rights and freedoms of individuals as enshrined in the Constitution, preventing infringements by the state. Conclusion. In India, constitutionalism is enshrined in several articles and provisions from the Constitution of India. Article 13 establishes that laws inconsistent with fundamental rights are void, while Articles 14 to 32 guarantee the protection of individual rights and promote equality before the law. Additionally, the Basic Structure Doctrine, through various landmark Supreme Court judgments, ensures that certain fundamental features of the Constitution cannot be altered or destroyed, thus reinforcing the principles of constitutionalism. Overall, constitutionalism is vital for maintaining a democratic society where power is checked, individual rights are protected, and the rule of law prevails. By understanding these principles, citizens can better appreciate the value of constitutional governance in safeguarding their freedoms and rights.